C'est pourquoi nous avons choisi, pour la Palme d'Or, un simple accident de Jafar Panahi.
Hello everyone and welcome to the concluding episode of the Cannes Canon. The festival is over, it's concluded. We're filming in Antibes right now. We have the beautiful view of Nice behind us. The hills kind of hide Monaco. The Grand Prix is happening at the moment. We're not going to be covering that unfortunately, but we are going to cover the Grand Prix, the Palme d'Or, you know, everything that's been happening yesterday.
Not the Monaco Grand Prix, but the Cannes Grand Prix.
Of course, which is much more important.
Much more important for me.
Yeah. How do you feel overall about this Palmarès for the competition?
Underwhelmed. The films that were rewarded, a lot of them I think were very worthwhile. I love the Grand Prix for sentimental value. That got more than I expected from this jury. I love Sound of Falling and Surat getting jury prizes. However, I'm very underwhelmed with It Was Just an Accident being our Palme d'Or. I feel like it was a political choice, and I feel like the film itself, personally don't feel like merits the Palme. I also feel deeply underwhelmed by director and actor both going to The Secret Agent.
I think it's a good prize list. I don't think it's great, and there are some disappointments. There are even some exclusions, especially since a total of 8 films were rewarded here. But I feel good about this, and I guess that's where we differ. The biggest aspect of which is that I really like the film that was awarded the Palme d'Or. I don't feel like it's a great Palme d'Or, but I think it's a good one, even though there are a few films that I think deserve the prize more.
For me, from the 50 or so Palmes that I've seen, I feel like It Was Just an Accident would rank in the bottom third of that. This was a very underwhelming one, and it's another film that I feel like, as I've been saying about Panahi every time we speak about him, I think that his films are more interesting to talk about than they are to watch, and that's what I feel like with It Was Just an Accident.
We rewatched It Was Just an Accident, and there's a pleasure of seeing it the first time and seeing what the plot is and the unraveling of the plot. And now that I knew everything that happened in the film, I could fully appreciate the film for what it is. And I think it is a very strong film that's thematically rich, that has great characters, that has great performances. And the last 15 minutes of the film, to me, are incredibly powerful and really make the whole thing come together. I also thought it was a great time. I think it's an entertaining film, and I think it is what we hoped The Seed of the Sacred Fig was last year. To me, this is the better film. This is the Iranian dissident film that actually would deserve a prize at the Cannes Film Festival.
Personally, The Seed of the Sacred Fig was my favorite film at last year's Cannes Film Festival, and it remains that. My second favorite film of last year altogether. And It Was Just an Accident. I see the only link that I see between the two is dissident cinema that was made in secret. Otherwise, I think The Seed of the Sacred Fig is a much more invigorating, much more thrilling, thought-provoking film.
I think It Was Just an Accident is much more thought-provoking, whereas Seed of the Sacred Fig just tells you its thoughts.
I disagree. But again, I might be in the minority on this one. I just found it to be underwhelming overall. Feels like Binoche gave this to Panahi as like a, here you go, bud. Here you go, pal. The same way that we could say that Isabelle Huppert did that for Pedro Almodovar this past fall with The Room Next Door at Venice.
And it's worth noting, this makes it that Panahi has completed the trifecta of winning all the top prizes at the European film festivals, Berlin, Venice, and now Cannes. He's won the Golden Bear with Taxi, he's won the Golden Lion with The Circle, and now he's won the Golden Palme with It Was Just an Accident.
And to kind of go off of that, there have been 5 or 6 other filmmakers that have done that. However, there's only one other filmmaker that has done that, plus the Locarno Golden Leopard. So Michelangelo Antonioni and Jafar Panahi now are the only filmmakers to have all 4 of those awards.
There are a lot of filmmakers, filmmakers like the Dardenne, who are always like festival favorites, and Jafar Panahi fits in that box. Whether you agree that he should be hailed as like one of the top 5 directors of all time or not, I don't think so. But there are filmmakers like him that are going to be festival favorites for whatever reason. Yeah. And good for him. I think it's great that this film is going to get more attention.
Grand Prix goes to sentimental value.
Yeah! Grand Prix went to Sentimental Value,
which I view as the true Palme, the runner-up to the political choice, which we did hear apparently in the press conference. They talked a lot about the importance of rewarding Panahi and it being the film plus the politics equals the win. Sentimental Value, probably you strip away the politics, maybe this wins. Maybe. Maybe I'm coping, But you gotta let me cope. I love this film. I'm very satisfied with the Grand Prix.
As someone who doesn't love the film nearly as much as you do, I'm happy with this prize. I'm happy for Trier. You know, this is an accomplished film. This is a film that is very much good overall and not just necessarily
It's one of those
in
things
its aspect.
where you could have awarded it screenplay, you could have awarded it actor, you could have awarded it actress. It would have fit very nicely into a few different boxes, which I think is a hallmark of being a film that should be one of those top 3 prizes.
Yeah, perhaps.
Sound of Falling.
Sirat de Olivier.
Savoir travailler l'itara. À peu près. In English would be kind of, we made you from different tribes in order to know each other.
And then the jury prize was a tie between Sound of Falling and Sirat. I'm very happy for Sirat.
We're both very happy about this.
Yeah,
I think.
I would have wanted it to be the Palme d'Or, but I understand it's the type of film to win a jury prize, so I guess that made sense. Sound of Falling also makes sense as a jury prize winner. It's an imperfect film that is so bold that this feels like the right prize for it, I suppose.
I was having champagne.
Where we would start to be a little bit disappointed again is when it comes to the Best Actor and the Best Director prize.
For The Secret Agent.
I'm willing to give this another watch, another chance.
Me too.
I really do feel though that the Best Actor prize was given because of lack of options. We don't have a lot of strong male acting contenders within the lineup of the competition.
I wouldn't have put Wagner Moura top 5, genuinely.
Yeah, but who else would you have put?
I mean, you could have put Guillaume Marbeck for Nouvelle Vague.
But that's an imitation performance.
It is, but I mean, what is Wagner Moura doing that's so special? I could have seen Josh O'Connor for The Mastermind.
That would have been a good choice.
Benicio del Toro for The Phoenician Scheme.
Yeah, that was never happening.
I know it was never happening. I could have seen the lead of Two Prosecutors.
That's true, that's true. And Two Prosecutors is one of the bigger exclusions that I'm a little bit saddened to see not come out with a prize.
I don't see the reason why you need to give The Secret Agent 2 prizes. The same way that I didn't see why you needed to give Emilia Perez 2 prizes last year.
Yeah. If it deserved a prize, director is not the worst prize for it to win.
J'ai une émotion là à l'instant qui me traverse, je ne saurais pas vous la décrire, mais elle est vraiment incroyable. Je tenais à remercier Asha Herzi, ma réalisatrice.
Best Actress, I was really pleasantly surprised to see it go to Nadia Maliti, a first-time actress in the Hafsia Herzi film, The Little Sister. It's a very naturalistic performance, a subtle one. It's a complex character that keeps her cards to herself.
Well, I didn't see that one. And another one of the prize winners that I didn't see was the screenplay prize, Young Mothers by Jean-Pierre and Luc Dardenne.
Neither of us have seen it. I'll be able to catch up with it in the next few days.
We can't talk much about it, but we kind of wrote it off as like why would the Dardennes win another prize for a film that we're hearing is a little bit weaker? But apparently, I mean, it's getting good reviews.
The assumption was that, you know, this was kind of more feel-good Dardenne, and given that it's not the miserablest Dardenne that we've come to expect, we would think that the jury would be less receptive to it. Clearly not the case.
Le prix spécial est attribué à Résurrection de Bilodeau.
And then, of course, we have to talk about the special prize, which comes back for a second year in a row, but this time it doesn't go to a political dissident to reward the film for courage. It goes to Began for Resurrection, which to me, it's not a great idea to make this special prize, but if you were to make the special prize, give it to a film that is special, in that it is hard to understand, hard to reward, hard to place in a box.
As much as I didn't like the film, I'm happy to see it rewarded in some way. I think Began is a very interesting filmmaker. I had a great time at the closing ceremony. Coming away from this festival, I've learned 2 things, which is I don't give a shit about the opening ceremony, and I love the closing ceremony.
Heaven sighs, and though I close my eyes, I see love your road.
It's fun to see these things happening live.
Yeah, and all of the filmmakers coming back and giving their speeches.
There's a thrill having been in the festival for the last week and a half and having seen these films and being there in person, seeing what that amounts to and what the jury thought of the results. And we've seen the Un Certain Regard jury kind of give out their awards just the day before. I'm happy to see some of these films be rewarded. A Poet got the jury prize. I'm very happy about that. Some of these films I haven't seen, so I can't comment on. The Mysterious Gaze of the Flamingo was the top prize winner, and neither of us managed to catch that one.
No, I only saw 2 In Certain Regard films the entire time.
I Only Rest in the Storm got Best Actress, an odd prize for that film, but I'm happy to see it get something. Otherwise, the Golden Eye went to a film neither of us had seen, Imago. Golden Camera and the Director's Fortnight People's Choice Award went to The President's Cake.
Which I saw, and I am so over the moon happy with that award.
Leave in our film and give us the home and stage to launch to the audience around the world.
Blends the political and the personal, and it tells a very small story in a way that has larger ramifications. It's beautifully shot, the performances are wonderful. It is a total crowd pleaser, but it's also a film that's very deserving of that Camera d'Or for the best first feature.
There was a special mention given to My Father's Shadow, a film that I had seen.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly love that film, but I think it's deserving of a special mention.
And it didn't show up in the In Certain Regard prizes.
It did not. That happens quite often because, you know, these are different juries. They have different opinions, different thoughts, and sometimes a jury will love a certain film and not respond to another.
And I think that sort of shows a little bit of the fickleness of juries, that it really is just one group's opinion. We can't really base anything on the opinion of one group.
I mean, if you had last year's competition jury with Greta Gerwig, I think Sentimental Value would have won the Palme. I'll also give a special shout out. The Golden Disc for the Best Soundtrack Award went to Sirat. This isn't a major prize or anything, but I'm happy to see that film get...
Palme Dog.
Of course, the Palme Dog went to Panda from The Love That Remains, which neither of us had seen.
No.
But the Grand Prix Palme Dog went to Pipa from Sirat. That means Sirat, you know, racks up 3 prizes at least.
Hey, we could be happy with that.
Anything you noticed throughout the entire crop of films?
The 2 trends that I saw in the programming this year was we had a lot of films from young filmmakers.
It's odd for the Palme d'Or to have gone to one of the old guards because of that.
The other thing, which is filmmakers who are extremely tied to place, whose works represent where they're from, represent their country, and more specifically, microgeographies within their cities.
Although Reichert, who is very attached to Oregon, did not shoot in Oregon. Bigan, who is really attached to Kaili, did not shoot in Kaili, or at least I don't think there's a segment that's in Kaili.
No, I don't believe so, but it's kind of detached from place.
Another little thing that I noticed in a lot of the films that I watched, experimented with sequencing and chapter formatting.
Yes.
Whether it's explicitly in title cards, subtly within the formatting of sequencing, in Resurrection or in Sentimental Value. The Secret Agent, for example, it is clearly divided in 3 parts, the same way that Neighboring Sounds was divided into 3 parts. I'm even thinking about films like Yes, which took the chapter formatting as changing the style of the film depending on the chapter. Chapter formatting used not just to organize the ideas of the film, but literally to separate formally what the film is doing.
Yeah, which is what Resurrection does as well.
Absolutely. There's also, I suppose, between Resurrection and A Simple Accident, the idea of senses and of sensory experience. In It Was Just an Accident, they have to identify a captive through every sense possible, whether that is hearing, smell, touch, and feeling. And in Resurrection, every sequence can be interpreted as being a manifestation or a representation of one of the senses. I think we have a lot of films that divided people this year. Not a lot of films that everybody was unanimous on, but not a lot of duds either.
I walked away from most of these movies going, yeah, it was fine. I was, I think, pretty disappointed by this crop of films, especially in comparison to last year. I felt much lower on average about films. I feel like I hated more things than I did last year, and I loved less things. And I think that's represented by me feeling like this prize list is like a little, When last year I was like, oh my God, Anora, fantastic Palme.
I don't think we had a weak festival. I don't think we had an incredibly strong one either.
Yeah.
I think there are a small handful of films that will become classics, but this isn't like going to be a 2019 year where we had like overwhelming favorites. This is a decent festival. It's not the worst, it's not the best, it's solid.
That said, the experience I had of the festival this year was much stronger than last year.
Okay, that's good.
We're waiting for the bells to stop for us to finish shooting our video.
It's so loud.
We want to share our palmarès, our personal palmarès, based on the films that we have seen at the festival over the entire slate of films, so not just the competition. Matt, do you want to start?
Sure. Okay, so In my list, I am deciding that I'm not going to award more than one prize to anything, so I will give just shout-outs of what I would have given without that constraint. Starting with Best Actress, if not giving Sentimental Value a different prize, I would have given this to Renate Reinsve, kind of the entire cast of Sentimental Value, Inga Ibsdottir-Lillies, Elle Fanning, but really Renate Reinsve out front. So in order to not award those three, I have to go to my number 4 choice, which is Jennifer Lawrence in Die My Love. It's not career best work from her. I know some people are saying it is. It's not, but it is incredibly strong work from her. For Best Actor, if not giving Sentimental Value another prize, I would go Stellan Skarsgård. But instead, I am going to go with Ubemar Rios for A Poet.
Nice.
Perfect casting, perfect performance. That film does not work the way it does without him. He really is a poet in real life.
Oh, okay.
In the screenplay category, I would have given this to Sentimental Value. So instead, I'm giving it to Left-Handed Girl.
Okay.
Wonderful screenplay, very Sean Baker screenplay. Then in the director category, I would have given this to Sound of Falling, but that's a different prize. So instead, I am giving this to Nadav Lapid for Yes, which is a daring film that is constantly reinventing and reimagining what cinema can be and what the relationship between the characters and the camera can be. And in the jury prize, I would give this to my 3rd favorite film of the festival, which is Splitsville. And I think this would also be a very worthy screenplay, a very worthy director prize. It is a lovely comedy that sort of broke the boundaries of what I expect from studio comedies coming out of America. 2nd place, the Grand Prix, goes to Masha Shalinsky's Sound of Falling, a film that mystified me, is still on my mind all this time later. I'm so sad that I didn't get a chance to rewatch it at the end of the festival. It's one of those films that I just would have loved to experience a second time. And my Palme d'Or, you might have guessed, Sentimental Value. I could have given this any prize and I would have been happy with it. It's going to remain my favorite film of the year. I already know that. It would be my favorite film of most years. It's going to end up being, at this point, top 5 of the decade for me.
Oh my God.
It's, I think, a perfect film. I've already seen it twice. I would have seen it a 3rd time if I had a chance. So, great film.
All right, so my Palmarès with the films I've seen, I would give my screenplay prize to Splitsville. I think it's a fantastic screenplay, and I need to reward it somewhere, and that's where it fit in. My actress prize, I would give to Nadia Meliti for The Little Sister. The actor prize, I'm gonna split it because I really want to reward Uberiam Rios for A Poet, but I also want to reward the mastermind somewhere, so I'm giving it also to Josh O'Connor. Shout out to Stellan Skarsgård, who is very good in Sentimental Value. My director prize is Began for Resurrection, because that is a daring film. So many ideas of mise-en-scène, of direction. It's overflowing with so many ideas. For my jury prize, it was just an accident. I think this is an overall great film that just fits in that slot, just works on basically all levels. My Grand Prix is Yes. That is a film I think is gonna stick with me. I think it's Nadav Lapid's best. It's a film I really hope will get some attention down the line because it is bold, it is invigorating, it is creative, and it is urgent. And then of course my Palme is Surat. That is the film I came out trembling, completely like staggering, speechless out of the theater. I can't wait to have more people see this because it is a conversation starter to say the least. But I hope these lists made you excited to either see or revisit these films if you were at Cannes. And I hope that you enjoyed our coverage of the Cannes Film Festival this year. Make sure to let us know what you thought of this series. We put a lot of work into this, and
This is the man. This is the person who has put all of this together. So thank you so much, Arnaud, for this contribution.
Thank you for your enormous support and your company, of course.
Yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice. I mean, old friends taking on Cannes.
But if you still want more, we will have more for you if you donate to our Ko-fi page. We will have bonus videos for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I guess we'll see you later on some other videos on the channel.